everyone. Our topic for today, nouns, singular and plural, what we call as number, part 2. In part 1, we've already covered up 4 rules of how to change from singular to plural and from plural to singular. Today in part 2, we shall continue with rule number 5. And those of you who have not watched the first part, do give it a look so that you are familiar with all the 4 rules that we've already covered. Now, before moving on to the 5th rule, let us just look at 2 words which you are already familiar with, vowels and consonants. Now, vowels. What are vowels? A, E, I, O and U are called as vowels. And how do we pronounce them as? Vowels. Many a times we hear people saying vowels or vowels, but it is vowels. And I'd just like to share a little information with you that whenever a word begins with the word V, try to bite your lower lip while pronouncing it. Like we are saying vowels, van, vase, valley. And if a word begins with W, blow it like how you blow a candle. What, when, where, why. You can also say what, when. But when you say wow, and you say wow. So what happens? The W sound becomes nicely round. And when you hear it, it sounds nice. So well, if you remember, V, bite your lower lip, W, blow it. Your pronunciation and your accent will of course sound very nice. So coming back to our rule, so there are certain words which will begin or end with certain words. Now if they end with the A, E, I, O, U, these vowels, we'll call them as vowel words. Now from the 26 letters that we have in the English alphabet, if we take away these 5, what are left are called as consonants. Consonants. Okay? N-A-N-T-S. So, if we begin with the consonants, B, C, D, F, G, H and so on and on. So, we have 5 vowels and 21 consonants. Now, coming to our first rule that you can see on your slide. So, rule number 5 says that if a noun or a word ends with Y, with a vowel before it, for example, donkey, ending with Y but it has a vowel E before it, the plural is simply formed by adding S to it. So, it becomes donkeys. Similarly, toy, ending with Y with the vowel O before it, the plural will become toys. And similarly, valley, ending with Y with the vowel E before it, you have valleys. And some examples are there which you can already see on your slide. The next rule says that if a word ends in Y, but it has a consonant before it, what do? Then we form the plural by dropping the Y, or we say we leave out the Y and we add I-E-S. So it becomes ladies, L-A-D-I-E-S, we've dropped the Y. Similarly, if you see country ending with Y with a consonant R before it, drop the Y and add I-E-S. So this becomes countries, I-E-S. See what we are doing? We are adding I-E-S. Similarly, lily, that's a flower, ending in Y with a consonant L before it. Drop the Y and just simply add I-E-S. That is the rule. If a word ends in Y with a consonant before it, drop the Y and add I-E-S. So again, you can just go through these examples that you see on your slide. Now, sometimes the spelling of the singular changes completely. There is nothing to do with the vowels or the consonants or to see whether it is ending with a Y or a M or anything. There are no rules for it. These words have just been formed. For example, man, it changes completely to form the plural as men. One man, two men, and more than that again man. Men, sorry. Then foot. 1 foot, 2 feet. Child, children. So again, some examples in front of you. Just go through them, and as you keep on reading more and more, I always tell you, your English will improve, your vocabulary will improve, and you'll get to know more words. There are some words or nouns that we say which have the same form. That means they do not change. The singular also is the same and the plural word also is the same. For example, sheep. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep, and so on. Deer, 1 deer, 2 deer, many deer, few deer. Homework. When we talk about homework, we don't say I have homeworks to do. Suppose you have homework in English and you have homework in Hindi and you have homework again in mathematics. You will not say I have homework to do in English, mathematics and Hindi. We just say I have homework to do. In English and maths, almost you can say I have a lot of homework to do today. But it doesn't become homeworks. Similarly, furniture. We don't say furnitures. It always remains as furniture only. Now let us look at how compound words form their plurals. Now what are compound words? Compound words are words that are made by joining 2 words together or more than that. For example, we say mother-in-law. Now there are 3 words in this. Mother-in-law. So these 3 words together make up that one word which we say as mother-in-law. And we separate those words with these little small dash which we call them as hyphen. Or father-in-law, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law. Or if we have 2 words, it can be passerby. Passerby, someone who is just passing by. Now when we form their plurals, what do we say? Mothers-in-law, fathers-in-law, sisters-in-law, and so on. The main noun word that is there, that changes into plural. So if you're talking about passer-by, the plural will become passers-by. Okay? So these are the way we found the plural of the compound words. Now there are certain words which are always used in the singular form. When we say singular form, that means the verb that is used before it will always be singular. For example, information. The information that you gave me is not true, or the information that you gave me is fully reliable, I hope. So we do not say information are. We will always say information is. This information is true. Now, what is the difference? We saw over there that there were some words which had the same singular as well as plural. For example, we saw sheep. 1 sheep, 2 sheep. But if we use the verb before that, we will say there is a sheep in the field. But if I'm talking about the plural of sheep, it will remain sheep. But I will say there are many sheep in the field. So I'm using the word are. But over here, it always be is or are. Was. Okay. My luggage was stolen from the train. What did I use? Was. That's a singular. Or my luggage is safely kept in the cloakroom. Similarly, knowledge. Knowledge again is always used in the singular form. We'll say knowledge is good for everyone. Just a simple sentence that I used. Okay. Is your knowledge about the planets good enough for you to write an essay on it? So with these words, we do not use the plural verb. It will always be the singular verb. And then there are certain words that are always used in the plural form. That is, again, the verb that we use before it is always in the plural. For example, trousers. My trousers are wet. My trousers are old. So how do we call them as? A pair of trousers. I'm talking about just my own trousers, my pair of trousers. But I will say my trousers are wet. So I'm using the word are. Okay. Similarly, scissors. When we talk about scissors, again it's always used in the plural form. Okay. That the pair of scissors we can say. I need a pair of scissors. I need two pair of scissors. The scissors are blunt. What do I say? The scissors are blunt. So I'm using it in the plural form. Similarly, headphones. What do I say? My headphones are new. My headphones are red in color. Okay. Now, if you look at all these trousers, two legs, okay. Then scissors, we have those two blades of scissors. When we talk about headphones, again in both the ears. If we talk about sunglasses, again. So when we want to talk about them according to their number, we'll just say, like I said, a pair of trousers, a pair of scissors, a pair of headphones, my pair of sunglasses have become old. I think I need to buy a new one. Okay, so that way we are going to use them always in the plural form. And you have some examples given over there. You can just go through them. So now it's time for some activity for you to apply all that we have done up till now. So just watch the slide, pause it, and then just start jotting down your answers. And here are the answers. So in every sentence you will see there's a certain hint word which will help you, or rather it must have helped you to find the correct answer. For example, the very first sentence, 6. The word 6 over there tells you that what do we have to use? The plural form, and dear remains as dear. Although everywhere you have to use just the plural form. But if the exercise is given, use the singular or the plural form of the word given in the bracket. So this word 6 will tell you that you have to use a singular or a plural. Not for dear, for maybe for any other, because dear remains as dear. Okay. Then we bought new furniture. The plural of furniture, as we know, is furniture. So you can just see goose changes to geese, child changes to children, man, men, tooth, teeth, woman. One is woman. Now we'll again just look at the pronunciation. We say one woman, and if it is more than one, the spelling becomes as WOMEN, but we pronounce this as women. How do we pronounce this as women? The O sound is not heard. This is the sound that is heard. Women. So one woman and more than one women. Okay, so again just add it to your pronunciation dictionary. And mouse, mice. That's again very easy. So one more exercise for you before we wind up today's lesson. So let's take a look at the next slide. So here are the answers. The incorrect, first of all, you have to find out how, again, some hint word is there. For example, I had a. A means one. So if it is a or if it is number 1, we cannot have slices. So I had a slice of bread with butter. There is no word such as butters. The next one. Those knives are very sharp. To hear it, KNIVE apostrophe S sounds exactly like knives. But when we talk about those means it is more than one. That is singular, those is more than one. So what is the plural of knife? It is simply K-N-I-V-E-S. That's knives. Then the puppies looked very cute. No mistake. That is what was given in the question, that some of the sentences contain the incorrect number. And sometimes, these type of sentences are purposely given. Why? To confuse you. Because when you're solving something, it's there in your mind. Let me find out what mistake is there in this. Is this the mistake? And like this sentence, although there is no mistake, you will still try to find the mistake that is there in it. So, similarly, the other sentences, just let us look at them. Oxygen remains the same whether it is singular or whether it is plural. So obviously oxygens is incorrect. Passer-bys. No, the passers-by, like we saw those compound words, change the noun part that is there. So passer that is there, so passer-by will become passers-by. We have two library in our school. Again, the word two over there tells that we are talking about something plural. So it is two libraries. We have two libraries in our school. So that was all for it today, where we covered up more rules, 4 more rules with some 2 exceptions. So total, both in part 1 and part 2, we've covered around 8 rules for changing singular to plural, and plus a few exceptions that we have seen. So before we wind up, let us once again just go through those rules by just watching the video once again. And of course, at the end of a lesson, you always have some practice exercises to be done at home. And where will you see them? In the link in the description box, along with the answers. But answers, you have to see them afterwards. And your questions, your queries, everything most welcome. So till we meet again in my next video, goodbye and take care.